Hey, what's going on? I'm Jamie Michael Joseph. This is the Strategy and Conversions podcast. And in this episode, I'm going to share with you the one thing that you have to get right for success. Now, straight out the gate, I'm going to say there are other things around this. Of course, there are. It's not a magic pill or anything like that, magic button that can just, make a change overnight. But you do have to get this right. Otherwise, you will always go into struggle. Okay, now, before we get into this episode, what I'm going to do is just say thank you to everyone who got in touch, all the kind of messages of support and all that kind of stuff from the last podcast. Just to say that it's glad that it's back and everything like that. It keeps me going. So, you're going to hear from me a lot more. We also said about on the last episode as well, we opened up the Marketing and Sales Mastermind as well. So it's been running for a couple of months now. We have different sessions in there, 4 sessions at least a month. So we look at a strategy session, we look at a tactical session, an expert comes in to do a masterclass. We have the open Q&A for you to get support from people in your business. There's guidance and direction through a community, through private messenger, through the training vault as well, so you can get in there and build and sharpen your skills. But the whole point is it's a winning environment, a development hub to help you move forward. The reason I'm talking about it is £95 a month. It's a really affordable way for it to help you move forward. But I know some people will be reluctant to pay that straight out of the gate and go, okay, without even seeing it or getting involved or anything like that. So what we have done from now until the end of the month, we're going to run a special. Okay, so what we're going to do there is a 14-day trial at £9.50, right? So just taking it all the way back, £9.50. You come in for 2 weeks. You can check it all out. Your membership will renew at £95 a month, but you can cancel anytime, all right? So I'm going to put some links below for you to check this out. So if you listen to the podcast, if you're watching on YouTube, the website, wherever it is that you're watching, you will see some information then to go and check it out. You won't believe everything that's involved. And at £9.50 just to check it out is insane. You can cancel the membership anytime as well. But I just wanted to get that in straight from the start, really, and just say, look, this is something which is incredible. This can change your life. Go and check it out. That winning environment, okay? Who are the right people around you? Who are driving you forward? Who are you getting your direction and guidance from? Who is supporting you? Who's on your side? And that brings me on to this week's episode, right? That whole kind of guidance and direction. Like, who are you taking, that information from? Who are you getting the support from? And I'm going to bring that back to me, okay? So for me, over the years, you've probably heard me say a few times before that, I got involved in internet marketing over 12 years ago now, and it was all about making money online. And the way how I learned to do things is to basically copy other people, right? So, different mentors, different training. I read books, watched videos, all this kind of stuff to see, look, how can I actually do this? How do you basically get a product that you can sell online? How do you create the shopping cart and all this kind of stuff? And over the years, I've then, I've invested in myself. I've got the right people around me, the right guidance, the right kind of mentors. The people that I will class as mentors as well, who don't even know who I am, right? I've read their books, I've watched their videos, I listened to their podcasts, all this kind of stuff. They've made a big impact on me and helped me move forward. They're like celebrities. I'm a big fan of The Rock, just from the work ethic side. You ever see him? He's training. He's how many different films and programs and stuff like that is he in? He's just like, he's just a monster. Right. And it's just like, if I can take 10% of that, I'm happy with it. And this is the reason I'm talking about all this is that if you look at anyone who is successful, who is the top of their game, who's doing well, who's happy, all this kind of stuff, you will see the people who they've been around for a little while. Right. It isn't just like an overnight thing. It isn't an overnight success. There's all different kinds of podcasts that we've done before where we've talked about how long does it take to become an overnight success. Right, because there is like a compound effect. It does just kind of catch fire, build that momentum, and it flips. But so many people get caught up in the beginning where they want the bigger picture, right? They want the kind of the lifestyle of The Rock. Right now, if we take The Rock for example, I mean, I've seen things before where he's like, I have to train in the morning, I have to do my exercises, all this kind of stuff. And if he's filming, if he's got something on, he will wake up early and go and do his training because he has to do that first before he starts his day. Is it easier for him? In one respect, yes. Look, he's going to have the right people around him. He's going to have trainers. He's going to have a chef. He's going to have people who drive him around and fly him around and all this kind of stuff. But he doesn't have to put in that work. he could let himself slide, quite easily. He's probably, he's obviously quite wealthy. He's got, different businesses and stuff like that. He could just shut up shop tomorrow and just be fine. But he doesn't want to do that. He has a drive. He wants to obviously do other things. He's probably going to run for president one day. Who knows? But the whole point there is that, look, he puts in the effort, right? And that's what I'm getting to. So this episode kind of said, look, there's one thing that you need for success, right? That one thing is action. Okay. And, diving a little bit deeper is consistent action. Now, you probably, if you haven't listened to any of the podcasts before and stuff like that, there was I can't even think which episode it was, but I remember Mark bringing up the whole secret. You've got the book, The Secret, there's the documentary, I think there's even a film now, and it's all about thoughts become things, manifesting, putting, the good vibes out there and it will come back. And I remember Mark saying about, if you go really deep into it and you look at some of the guys, and I think it's Bob Proctor who's on there and he's talking about it. And he says in the documentary, I think there's one part where he says you must take action. And Mark was saying that there's a big part of that documentary that was missed out. And lots of people in there were talking about, look, manifesting and coming up with all this kind of stuff and putting plans in place and all this stuff is great. You need it, and I was always against the whole kind of, not against, but I didn't believe in the whole power of the mindset stuff until, I really got into it, and it is very important. But the whole point here is that, look, if you don't put in the work, if you don't take action, nothing's going to happen, right? No one's coming to change your life unless you do. Again, you have to take that action yourself to make things happen. So, when I said that there's lots of different things around it, when we're talking about action and we're talking about consistent action, we're talking about that consistency being one of them. We're talking about putting in the effort, but putting in the work in a hard way, working in a hard way, but also in a smart way. Okay, so you work hard, but in a smart way. Okay, we're looking at momentum. Look, things build up over time, the compound effect. We're looking to obviously get to where we want to get to. And if we think about that in different areas of our life, if we think about like training and working out and stuff like that, you don't just walk into a gym and you walk out with the body that you want. Okay, that you have to get in there. You have to do the reps and sets. I love to talk about that just in business and in marketing and lead generation, acquisition, all that kind of stuff, right? It's all about reps and sets. It's all about putting in the work consistently to obviously get what you want to get. And that whole thing now with working out is like, how many people do you know, like from January especially, who have this idea that they want to get in shape, they want to get to a certain level of fitness, that they want a certain body and stuff like that. And come February, they've given up, right? And that there is the problem of, they don't have the right plan in place. They go too fast. They try to do everything straight away. They try to do it overnight. They don't see results. And then, that's it. They give up. And to get around that, it all comes back down to habits. It comes down to routine, and it comes down to consistent action, right? So whatever it is, and I see this with people that I talk to in business, with kind of business owners, entrepreneurs, people who want to grow their business. When it all breaks down to it, like everyone's just looking to get a better income and a better lifestyle. Okay, so they want more money and more freedom. Okay, and people say, oh, it's not about the money, but money buys you freedom. Of course it does, right? So money is important. You have to get the money in some way to give you that freedom and to give you those options, to give you those choices. But the whole point there is that it does take time to come up with content or put stuff out on social media. It does come time to build out landing pages or, different content blogs and stuff like that. It does take time to do sales meetings. It does take time to fulfill on the work and actually complete the work, whether that's a service, as a product to send out, whether it's like you are an authority figure and you're speaking on stage and all this kind of stuff. Like, it all takes time, and so many people want things quickly that they don't put in the work. And there's a great book that I would recommend to anyone to read, whether you're in business, whether it's just in life in general. And the book's called Atomic Habits. I think the guy's name is James Clear. I did have it around somewhere and I can't see where it is, but this book's been around for a good few years. And I can remember it just being on my list on Audible for so long. And I was like, yeah, I'll get that at some point. I listened to it at some point. I ended up getting the book and reading it back in January, I think it was, or end of December. And I put it down as being one of the best books I've ever read. I'll put it up there and definitely in a top 5, at least the top 10, of any book that will inspire you, will help you, see clearly into what you need to do to make things happen. And it's all about just making small changes and getting to that point where, you can make a massive change, a massive difference over a period of time just by doing the small things right, just by taking action, putting that kind of routine in place. Small steps will get you to where you want to be. There's all different kinds of metaphors and similes and all this kind of stuff that you can talk about referencing this. And there's people saying that you just take the next step up the stairs. In the marathon you're just running 1 mile at a time. You've got the whole kind of thing with when it's dark, you've got the headlights on your car. You can only see so far in the fog, but you can only just travel that distance at a time. And that's all it is, really. So many people, they start out in business and they want the kind of £1 million or $1 million kind of business and stuff like that, and they're starting from scratch, and in a month's time they don't have it and they just give up. But they're so close to that goal that if they just keep going, they can make it happen. And look, there is a caveat there. I mean, if there's no point in working really hard if you're doing the wrong things. So it does make sense to obviously get the right environment and get the right people around you and stuff like that, and the right kind of guidance and support. But if you do know what you're doing, okay, and you're going at it, then just keep going. Okay. And this isn't one of those where, we're saying hustle and grind, and you have to be doing that all the time. And there is that kind of thing that comes up of, Gary Vee used to be the whole kind of, you need to hustle and stuff like that. And people go against it and they're just like, you don't want to burn yourself out, you don't want to wear yourself out. And of course you don't. It's all about working in a smart way, but it is about working hard. You do need to hustle, you do need to grind, but you can do that in sprints. You can set time, you can give yourself an hour a day, you can give yourself half hour a day, and just use that time to move yourself forward, whether that's learning a new skill, whether that's working on business development, acquisition, whether it's working on your authority brand. It could be that you're looking to write a book, right? And whatever keeps happening, you just never get around to it. Well, you give yourself half hour a day and you just sit down and you just write, for that half hour a day over a month, that's all going to add up. There is, I put together a while back a 21 days, to give yourself an unfair advantage in business. And there was a part there where it just said, look, just give yourself 12 minutes a day. And I can't remember what it adds up to now, but it's like you're giving yourself a good day or two over a year just by giving yourself 12 minutes a day. Right? And it sounds insane. I'm going to have to find out what exactly it was that you get on the outcome. But the whole point here is just 12 minutes. Anyone can find 12 minutes a day. I don't care how busy anyone is. Find 12 minutes a day. Use that 12 minutes to, work on the future, to work on building yourself and moving you forward. And I have this saying, which is momentum creates motivation and motivation compounds momentum. Okay. And the whole thing around that is that motivation is awesome. Okay. You get motivated. How many times have you been to an event? You've had a chat with someone or something like that. You've done something, you're really motivated and you're like, I'm going to go and do this. I'm going to go and do that. I'm going to do all these things. And then the next morning you're just like, I'll get around to that later. And it just never happens. Right. Whereas when we come back to momentum, is that if you actually start doing stuff, right? And this is the big secret, right? The actionable steps is that you actually start doing stuff. Once you start doing the stuff, all of a sudden the motivation comes because you start to get some success, you start to get some wins, and those wins build up. And as soon as those wins build up, you want more. And then that's when the motivation comes. You put in more work, you put in more effort. You're just like, yeah, I want more wins. And then because of that motivation, it compounds your momentum. You'll move forward faster, you move forward quicker, you move forward bigger. And that's the whole point here, is that you have to put in the effort, right? The actionable steps. And the easiest way to do this is just to plan things out. Like I said, get the right people around you, get the right environment, look at what you actually need to do and do the stuff that you need to do. I mean, I can't even think of the amount of times that I spoke with people, I've even worked with businesses and stuff like that, where we've set out a map of what needs to be done. And we're doing it week by week, month by month, whatever it is. And we get into week 3 and it's still on week 1. And it's just like, well, why haven't you done this? Oh, we thought we might do things like this, or we might change that. And it's like, well, you're never going to get the outcome because we're building up to where we need to be. Okay. It isn't the case of, you keep spinning around. And that's why I went back to the beginning of saying, look, this isn't just the answer. This isn't the secret. It's one of the secrets, is that it all comes together, it all combines together to make things happen for you. But if you do not have action, if you do not have the consistency, you're always going to be struggling because you'll always be stop starting. You'll always be on that kind of feast to famine mode. Is that you're putting a bit of effort, you'll stop. And then when you get motivated again, you're putting a bit of effort, you'll stop. And you're never going to get that compound effect. You're never going to build momentum. So the whole point with this podcast, that the one thing that you need for success is consistent action. Okay, put in the work, and you will see it as well wherever you're viewing this. If you're watching the video, you'll see a little logo in the corner that says Momentum Max, and on the podcast page as well, on the tile there, you'll see the logo as well. And this is something that I came up with a good kind of 18 months ago, and it was to push myself. So every time I'm just like I'm off my beat, if I'm not focused or anything like that, in my head, Momentum Max comes in, and that's when I get into it. And I'm gonna share a bit about that as we move forward. What I've done to create that is I've basically taken lots of different bits from different mentors, people who motivate me, and I've put it in a way where I'm just like, in my head, all I need is Momentum Max, and I'm taking that step forward. And I know that may just seem like, look, what is he talking about? And like I said, I will explain things as we move forward. But coming back to that saying, it's just that, look, momentum creates motivation. Motivation compounds momentum. If you start putting in the work now, you're going to see results, all right? I love this phrase that I heard a little while back. And it's like, look, you can't run 3 miles a day and still be fat. Okay, and that's the whole kind of thing with business as well, right? Is that you can't put in the effort each day and not get the results that you want. So start putting in that effort. And look, if you need any help, just reach out. Always be willing to give you my guidance. And if you need some support, like I said, we've got the mastermind, we've got a program as well. But that mastermind at 950, get involved, start taking those steps. It's amazing. And yeah, look, I shall catch you in the next episode. I'll see you then.